Is Kent Hughes about to strike gold by acquiring Dylan Cozens from Buffalo, giving Montreal the dynamic young winger who could transform the middle six and accelerate the Canadiens' timeline to contention? Friday is the day to dream big, and Montreal Canadiens fans just got a legitimate reason to lose sleep. While the league prepares for the Four Nations face-off tournament break, general managers' phones never stop ringing. On Friday, December 19th, 2025, the Daily Nuggets update dropped a hidden bombshell in the details. Insider Kevin Weeks listed the Montreal Canadiens as one of the teams interested in acquiring Dylan Cozens, the dynamic forward from the Buffalo Sabres. For anyone following Kent Hughes' tenure as Montreal's general manager, this shouldn't come as a surprise. Hughes has a very specific type: young players with first-round pedigree who might need a change of scenery to explode. Look at his track record. Kirby Dach, Alex Newhook, Patrick Lane. He's built his entire philosophy around finding talented young players who haven't quite reached their potential and putting them in situations where they can thrive. Dylan Cozens fits that mold perfectly. At 24 years old, he has the talent of a legitimate top six forward and the speed that Martin St. Louis system demands. Acquiring a player of that caliber from a divisional rival would be a masterstroke. Let's talk about who Dylan Cozens actually is, because if you don't watch Sabres games, and honestly, who does besides their own fans, here's what you need to know. His nickname is the Workhorse from Whitehorse, and it's earned. He plays with a furious intensity. He skates fast, he hits hard, and he never gives up on plays. He's a natural center who can play on the wing. He has a dangerous shot and elite transition ability. He's the kind of player who makes everyone around him better through his work ethic and commitment to the process. For Montreal, Cozens represents something crucial: insurance in the middle of the ice. With the long-term health of Kirby Dach still uncertain, the Habs need protection. But Cozens isn't just insurance. He's a potential second-line starter who could score 30 goals. Imagine a line with Patrick Lane, Dylan Cozens, and Ivan Demidov. That would be the fastest, most lethal line in the entire Atlantic Division. That's the kind of line that wins playoff games. That's the kind of line that makes opponents' coaches lose sleep. The question everyone asks is obvious. Why would Buffalo trade a 24-year-old player with this much potential? The answer lies in organizational philosophy and desperation. The Buffalo Sabres continue to struggle to find consistency in this scenario. Sometimes, to change a culture, you have to move core pieces. It's painful, but it's necessary. The Sabres have been stuck in mediocrity for years, and sometimes the only way out is to shake things up dramatically. Buffalo would need something valuable in return. Obviously, the Sabres desperately need defensive help or an elite goaltender. Montreal has an embarrassment of riches in young defensemen: Struble, Harris, Barron, Mayu, Reinbacher. A need-for-need trade could absolutely work. Montreal sends a young defenseman or two. Buffalo gets the help they need on the blue line. And Montreal gets a dynamic young forward who can transform their lineup. The contract situation is actually favorable for Montreal. Cozens signed a 7-year deal at $7.1 million average annual value back in 2023. That's a long-term commitment, but the salary cap is rising. For Montreal, having that cost locked in during the player's prime years is an asset, not a problem. You're not overpaying for a declining player. You're securing a young star at a reasonable price for the next several years. Here's where this gets really credible. Kevin Weeks doesn't make mistakes. He was one of the first to report several major trades recently. When an insider at his level drops a specific name, it means conversations have happened. This isn't forum speculation. This isn't educated guessing. This is real information. Kent Hughes called Buffalo. The Sabres answered. The conversation is happening right now. The beauty of Dylan Cozens as a target is that he represents the middle path. The Canadiens have been linked to Elias Pettersson, a superstar who would cost a fortune and carry an $11.6 million contract through his mid-30s. They've been linked to Philip Danault, a veteran who brings leadership but limited upside. Cozens is different. He's young. He's talented. He's aligned with the championship window of Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield. He's the kind of player who grows into his prime exactly when Montreal's core is hitting theirs. If the Canadiens can close this trade without giving up Ivan Demidov or David Reinbacher, it would be the win of the decade. Demidov is untouchable. He's the future. Reinbacher is a defensive cornerstone of the rebuild. But trading a young defenseman like Barron or Harris, or even multiple defensive prospects, for a dynamic young forward like Cozens makes perfect sense. You're trading from depth to address need. Dylan Cozens has the character and ability to be a leader in Montreal for 10 years. He has the speed to fit Martin's St. Louis system perfectly. He has the talent to be a legitimate top six contributor immediately. He has the age to grow with the organization's core. If Kevin Weeks is reporting this, it's because it's real. If Kent Hughes is working on this, it's because he sees the fit. The timing is perfect. The Four Nations face-off break gives general managers time to work on deals without the distraction of games. Buffalo is desperate to change the narrative. Montreal is aggressive in trying to improve. The pieces are in place for a deal that could transform both franchises. For Montreal, it's the kind of move that accelerates the timeline. For Buffalo, it's the kind of move that signals a fresh start. Friday is for dreaming big. And if Kent Hughes is working today, the Christmas present might just arrive with a white horse label on it. Dylan Cozens in a Canadiens jersey. That's not just a trade. That is a statement that Montreal is ready to compete, ready to take risks, and ready to build something special. Should the Canadiens pursue Dylan Cozens aggressively, or should they stay patient and wait for other opportunities? Would you trade young defensemen to acquire him, or is that giving up too much depth? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and hit that like button if you think Dylan Cozens could be the missing piece that transforms Montreal's lineup.